All clear from severe weather as we come on the air tonight, and we do thank you for joining us for the news at 11. I'm Vanessa Rufus.
And I'm Colin Mayfield. And while the storms are gone tonight, many across our area are picking up the pieces right now. One of the most active severe weather days for damage reports the area has seen in the last 20 years today. We saw multiple tornado warnings, and we know the National Weather Service will be in our area tomorrow to survey the damage.
Strong winds and rain knocked over trees and power lines, with Duke Energy reporting tens of thousands still without power at this hour.
I was able to get a hold of a Duke Energy official today, just hours ago, really. They say the damage compares to tropical storms we've seen, and crews are out right now working to restore power as quickly as possible.
With storms like these, it's hard to know exactly where you're going to see your biggest outage pockets. So you leave your crews kind of in the areas where they're located. And then what happens is we go out there and do damage assessments and begin to see, do we have enough resources here? Do we need to bring in additional resources so we can quickly move crews from surrounding counties and even surrounding regions to those hardest hit areas?
We'll get to some team coverage we have from across the area in just a moment, but we do want to start with Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. We were talking about how this is a very notable day with the number of storm damage reports that we've seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen a day like today in 20 years, Brad.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, I've been here over 20 years, never seen this many reports in a single calendar day. It's pretty impressive. Now, the good news tonight, as we mentioned, all clears from severe. Those storms have exited the region. They're now pushing offshore. Still some lingering showers, but let's get into the damage reports. All of these dots are what we call LSRs, local storm reports. It's an acronym for that. And if we zoom in on Mecklenburg County, look at the cluster of wind damage reports we have. Most of these are tree damage and power lines. Now, there's two areas where it might be tornado damage. We're going to probably see a survey tomorrow in Lake Norman, southern Iredell, into Rowan County. I am fairly confident that was a tornado. The other area is in the Huntersville area. There was a warning down there. That might be a little more questionable, but there was widespread damaging winds in Catawba County, Alexander County. These areas saw 80-mile-per-hour straight line winds, and you see how large this area is. If we scale this back, I went back and looked, and today, so far, we're still counting 196 storm reports in our area. That surpasses the previous highest day, which was back in April of 2011. That was a derecho. And by the way, for the number of warnings, it was the sixth most warnings we've seen in our area since 1986. So this is a significant day. And normally this does not happen in the summertime. That would be more of a spring event or a fall event with a tropical system or a hurricane. What happened today is a lot of the winds were what we call downbursts or straight line winds. That cold rush of air came out and produced damaging winds that likely could have gusted as high as 80 or 90 miles per hour. Sometimes they can be bigger than that, but this occurred over several hours as these storms moved across the area. They can be divided into two types of downbursts. Smaller ones are microbursts. The bigger ones are called macrobursts. We saw a lot of this wind damage today on top of that tornado damage. Now, coming up, we're going to talk about calmer weather ahead for the next couple of days, but I'm already keeping an eye on Thursday for potentially more scattered storms.
Okay, Brad, thank you. So with that, yeah, of course, we want to talk about the damage that we are seeing. We are seeing it across many parts of our area.
Yeah, WCNC Charlotte, Julia Kaufman joining us live from Southeast Charlotte with some of the damage we're seeing there tonight. Julia.
Colin, Vanessa, a Charlotte family I spoke with earlier tonight is shaken up after this giant tree crashed through their house, sending a man to the hospital. I spoke with his wife, who was also scraped up from the ordeal. She tells me he had a gash on his head and is likely concussed from the tree ripping through the back of their house. He was taken to the hospital in an ambulance and luckily is expected to be okay. Their house, however, as you can imagine, is in bad shape. The tree fell from their neighbor's yard, ripped through their roof, and took wires down with it. Duke Energy is actually here now assessing the damage, and emergency crews were here earlier, and they responded to several other calls just like this one of downed trees, and they even had to respond to fires. Check out this video. We were at this scene earlier this evening in Northeast Charlotte at EPRI. That's the Electric Power Research Institute. A large fire broke out there at the facility around 7 o'clock, and it took 40 firefighters to control it. and luckily no injuries were reported. Now, CFD could not confirm if this fire was weather or storm related rather, but they're investigating the cause. But either way, it was a hectic night tonight, you could say. Businesses and homeowners are now cleaning up the mess from all of this chaos we saw earlier this evening, and crews are assessing the damage. For now, live in Southeast Charlotte, Julia Kaufman, WCNC Charlotte.
Julia, appreciate those boots on the ground there and us giving a perspective of what you're seeing. Parts of East Charlotte, though, also feeling the effects of tonight's storm.
Yeah, let's check in with WCNC Charlotte's Kaylin Hagwood, who visited Sudbury Road in the Windsor Park neighborhood, and that is where trees left significant damage to a home.
Well, Brad told you about the possible impact of those strong winds, and you can certainly see that here at this home. I'm in the Windsor Park neighborhood, and you can just see those trees toppled over from those strong winds from that storm. I spoke to a neighbor who said that it just felt like a huge impact, and her heart was just with her neighbors as they're working to recover from this situation. It's unclear how those individuals are doing. We have not been able to speak with the owners, but you can just see the damage left behind. But as we drove through this neighborhood, we did not see a lot of similar damage, and I think that speaks to what Brad has been telling you as well. Wherever you guys are traveling, to be very cautious and watchful, because you don't know if in one area where it may seem clear and calm and easy to get through, where in another area there is more damage to be seen. So you want to be careful, you want to be cautious as you're getting back out and getting out on the roadways as those damage reports continue to come in. But for now, we are here in the Windsor Park neighborhood in Charlotte. Again, our thoughts with this family as they work to recover. This is showing that damage that we've been telling you guys about, while we wanted you to stay weather aware as the storm came through. Kaylin Hagwood, WCNC Charlotte.
Kaylin, thank you for that. In North Mooresville, power lines and trees came down. In fact, part of a tree fell into a family's home. The homeowner was there. Thankfully, they were okay, but she says it all happened so fast.
It literally happened so fast. It got dark, the wind picked up, the rain just started coming. The wind got really, really bad. So I hid in the closet and I heard this awful, awful noise. So I did look out the window and I saw the tree fell over on my neighbor's house and on our carport and in our driveway.
Now let's go to Catawba, where meteorologist KJ Jacobs spent the evening after a large tree couldn't survive the intense winds there.
For decades, this large maple tree held its ground. However, today, it fell victim to Mother Nature. A powerful line of storm swept through the Charlotte area Monday. Wind gusts estimated near 80 miles per hour in Catawba County.
You could just feel the house vibrating. It was so windy.
Homes and cars heavily damaged. Ray describes what happens as storms quickly approach this home.
And I thought, man, this looks bad. And it just got so intense I could hear it beating up against the house. And then I heard some limbs blowing, and so I opened up the back door and looked out, and I could see limbs in my brother's backyard.
Ray said the worst of it happened in a matter of 10 minutes, and he soon discovered his brother's car crushed by a 60-year-old maple tree.
Well, he's been on the phone with the insurance companies, of course, the house and the car, but, cars can be replaced. Thank goodness nobody was out and about and, got hurt.
Ray is grateful his family and neighbors are safe despite their brush with Mother Nature. A huge eyesore in this front yard with this large tree uprooted. However, the homeowners cannot begin the cleanup process until the damage is surveyed. In Catawba, I'm meteorologist KJ Jacobs, WCNC Charlotte.
Thanks to KJ for that report. Tonight's storms proved deadly just outside of our area, where we're learning a downed tree has taken the life of a teen in South Carolina. The coroner's office in Anderson says that tree fell on a home, killing a 15-year-old. And the Carolinas aren't the only place seeing impact from today's storms. States including Tennessee, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia among the East Coast states there that are seeing severe weather. Nationwide, more than 1 million households were without power at some point this evening.
And we really cannot state this enough. Your photos and videos, they were critical to our coverage of today's severe weather. If you have photos and videos from today, we do want to see them. We want to thank you to those who did send them in. We appreciate all of these perspectives that you're seeing on your screen. Make sure you're in a safe spot, though, when you do send these images in to us, to our WCNC Charlotte mobile app. Click the Near Me button on the bottom right of the screen, as you can see there, and then tap Share with Us.